Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I'm joined always by Keelan. How you doing, man?
Very well, bless. How about yourself?
Wonderful, wonderful. Happy Hump Day. We started a little bit late today, but that's because I did not realize how many episodes of WandaVision we had to catch up on. Feels just like yesterday, and I was like, like episode 4 was coming out, and now we have like 6 episodes to talk about. Well, 3
Right.
for this one, but pretty crazy stuff. So thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Happy Wednesday to all of you out there. You know what it is. It is your favorite podcast about entertainment, Screen Time Continuum. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 3 through 6 of WandaVision. We just got finished with it. So we wanted to have a short discussion. It's probably not going to be like our Game of Thrones recanting epic tales of all the medieval craziness that come to expect from us. So no 3-hour stream tonight, but we want to talk about WandaVision because it's actually, I mean, at least in my opinion, we'll see what Keelan thinks in a second, but in my opinion, it's gotten actually pretty interesting and pretty cool. And I'm quite intrigued to see where it goes next. Keelan, what are your initial thoughts about the episodes 3 through 6?
WandaVision, episodes 3 through 6. So my initial thoughts, a little bit of money wasted on some things. A lot of money spent well on so many other things that make that some of those other things disappear. That's from the way my brain works for whatever reason. Very great effects, a lot of detail, but that is like from my technical side. For a storyline, for just texture, so to speak, I loved it, honestly. Like they could give me 23 episodes of this and I'll be waiting for every last one of them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. So I didn't know that that's how they were going to take it. Basically, every episode is a different decade. I guess I could have kind of picked up on that on the first 2 episodes, but I didn't know if they were going to be continuing that trope through each of the episodes. So episode 3, you got the 70s, and then episode 4 was the 80s. Episode 5 was the 90s. Wait, was that episode 6? Yeah, that's
episode 6. Yeah,
episode 6 is definitely the 90s or 2000s.
And I call it the mid-late 90s.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it well, yeah.
I guess because it was kind of like Malcolm in the Middle.
It was definitely Malcolm in the Middle, but that was like 97, 98, yeah? No, that was probably 99, so it was the early 2000s.
Yeah, I guess it was probably. So, episode 6 was kind of set around the early 2000s, very Nickelodeon-esque almost, which I thought was interesting, just like following the kids and stuff. But maybe before we get into episode 6, let's talk about some of the prior episodes. And I think you and I felt the same way. Episode 3 seemed like a non-episode almost. And that one was centered around Wanda basically having her twin boys.
Yes. And I liked it for one thing. To me, it was a very honest episode. If you were to look at it from these are Wanda's emotions now interfering with her. You saw everything really falling apart, but from the small side, episode 3 was one of those episodes that if it didn't happen, you don't miss a beat. You don't miss anything aside from the boys. But again, okay, you jump to the next episode. They're 20 years later, because when you think about that, when you think about it from that aspect, they're jumping decades.
Yes.
Right. So it kind of made sense for them to go from this, and then by the next episode they're having kids, and then by the next episode those kids are up and about,
right?
Because that's a decade at least. And so I think it was just a sight into one, how strong Wanda is, which we know she controls reality. But then also how weak Wanda is, how human Wanda is, because Wanda wasn't born a mutant. She is a human being who came into these extraordinary powers, and not really by any way of her own. It's not like she chose to be this.
Yeah.
So I think
is kind of interesting. because, well, and I guess we'll get into it a little bit later. But yeah, I definitely I think that there's something to be said about how powerful they're making Wanda out to be. I think it's pretty interesting, actually. It's kind of an interesting angle, like from and I think they kind of poke fun at it too in a couple episodes later, where they, you know, like her brother is saying, you know, like, oh, you can now, you don't just shoot, you know, red glowy things out of your hands, you know,
it
like,
causes nightmares.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think there's kind of like this tongue-in-cheek sort of attitude about it now, where it's like, well, yeah, no, Scarlet Witch is like ridiculously powerful, and
well,
it's kind of stupid that she didn't have much to do in Endgame and Infinity War.
And so my opinion is that is happening on screen because it's happening in dialogue from not just them, but even the SWORD officers, when they were speaking to one another, they kind of made jest of it all, kind of like, like, doesn't she kind of control reality, or is she just playing with people's minds? It's like all of a sudden they understand what she's doing, but they don't quite get it.
Yeah.
And when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking the writers or the director, someone is taking a shot at the previous person who had the opportunity to take the Scarlet Witch character, you know, into something different. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's what you did. That's really what you did.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely tongue in cheek and kind of like they were definitely self-referential about the ideas that, you know, like, oh yeah, we just thought that she was only able to sort of like to affect reality in a small way, but now she's like literally creating her own reality, almost like a pocket dimension in of itself. Right. And that's what they kind of talk about, because we find out in these episodes that Wanda is indeed controlling this whole area, and we find out later that it's an actual city in New Jersey called Westview that she is controlling.
Well, so that's the thing, is they say she's kidnapped an entire town, but the officers from the neighboring from Eastview says Westview doesn't exist. So she's abducted a town's worth of people. So more so than,
well, it is a town though.
It is a town. It is 1,000% a town. But so I just say a town's worth of people, and she's created everything else aside from that, including maybe even the homes.
Yeah.
And another look or another thought I had about that and the way that's going is, I'm thinking everyone inside of the anomaly, let's call it, or the hex, because that's what they're calling it, the hex. They were a part of the disappeared. That makes sense to me. If
they were blipped back in.
Yeah. There were the people who disintegrated and became blipped back into existence. Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess that's possible. What my understanding was, and maybe we'll find out later when we figure out what, because at this point we don't really know how she did what she did. She doesn't even
know, right? Or at least she tells us she doesn't know.
She says she doesn't know, but then you see in the last scene of episode 6, it's like, oh, really? You don't know what you're doing? Though, huh? Yeah. But yeah, so she kind of pretends like she doesn't know what she's doing, but yeah, I think that she definitely does. What were we referencing before?
The general abilities of just how far her powers are going, how much they've changed from what the movie storyline gave her abilities. So yeah,
it's ridiculous. I mean, obviously, if that's the issue, is that the Marvel has so many characters that are just crazy overpowered, and if you brought any of them in, that's why they had to kill Superman for Justice League. Like,
and sidebar.
Yeah.
They did it twice, but we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. But like, Superman just handles everything except for maybe Doomsday and a couple small amount of people, but yeah, I think that's kind of one of the reasons, which I think is unfortunate, because had this come out before Endgame and all that, which it obviously couldn't because it's supposed to come after.
Right.
But I think I would have cared about Scarlet Witch more had I had seen this before
the
Endgame and Infinity War and stuff, because this actually like gives her a character. She doesn't have anything to do in those Avengers movies.
That's true.
Like,
and it would almost, by that point, it would explain her coldness. But the way this seems to be going, she couldn't be the good guy.
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised they went that route, and it's I think it's I think it's refreshing, because what we were talking about before, there could be somebody else involved that's helping her get into this situation,
right,
which we don't know. Maybe there still is somebody else involved, you know, like helping her in the background. But from what we can tell right now, it seems like she is literally the only person creating all of this reality. So she's taken over a whole town of people, and all of these people were actual people. What I had thought before were that they were just like illusions.
I thought that as well originally.
Yeah. And so apparently they're not illusions. They're actual people that are being mind controlled in this sort of like, you know, perfect world that she's created.
It's far from perfect.
Well, of course it's far from perfect.
And that's the other thing. By episode 3, like, as needless, I'm not gonna say useless, as needless as I feel episode 3 was, there were a few gems in there. And like episode 3 showed me a lot about the limitations of her powers if she's distracted. Right?
Yeah.
Something else episode 3 showed me was something that episode 5, I believe, confirmed, which was she wants help.
Yeah.
She wants help. She just doesn't know how to get it, or what that help looks like.
I think
what she's looking for.
I think it's maybe a little bit less that she wants help, because it doesn't seem like she needs help, but I think that she feels guilt. She feels guilt for what she's doing, and like her subconscious, and that's why they, you know, she let in Geraldine, right? Geraldine is the sword agent that was basically sucked into her reality, and she was, and so she was the lady that was in the magic show and like got reappeared in the box and stuff. And she's like, oh, you know, like in the first episode, you could kind of tell like she didn't understand what was going on either. But yeah, so I think that that's why she allowed Geraldine into the illusion, is she kind of does feel guilty about what she's doing, because she knows she's being selfish, but I don't know if she cares all that much.
Well, I think something Vision said. So, well, really quick, to Geraldine, also known as Monica, in there, when she first came on screen, right? Before, you know, we kind of get her origin story and all of that. When she first came on screen, I knew immediately. I was like, something's wrong. Something's out of place with her being there. It automatically popped out to me. But as far as she goes and the way she works in this situation, not just her wanting help, the fact that she is also a disappeared, or a person that was blipped out of existence and back into existence. I think that there is something in the people, or of the people who that happened to, that she recognizes.
And I think it's maybe perhaps that the reality stone is what probably caused the blip, or helps part of what caused the blip. And her magic is from the reality stone. So perhaps like they have this like connection there. You know what I mean?
I didn't think about the stone, but that does make perfect sense.
Yeah. So maybe there's just like this latent magic in all of these people that got blipped that, you know, have this ability to sort of like sense, because I didn't really understand like why they could see Westview, but the police officers from Eastview couldn't. I didn't really get that. When Geraldine and the FBI officer go to Westview for the first time, and they're like, you know, so we're, you know, talking about Westview, and they're literally in front of the sign, and the police officer's like, well, there is no Westview, there's Eastview.
Right.
But why weren't they able to see the town?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was wondering, did they not see the town? Did they not see the sign? Were they just tired of dealing with it?
They're standing literally right next to the sign. So it couldn't be that they didn't see the sign. It's like something is going on where they don't see it. So maybe they're a part of the illusion, or,
that's a good question.
Like, I don't
That's a
know.
great question. And it's probable, it's highly probable that, again, like you are saying, they are a part of the illusion. And that's probably how she knew. How Wanda was aware, oh, there's someone here that can probably help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
I don't know if help is the right word. I think that she wants somebody to stop her.
Okay. Someone, just a way to make people aware of what I'm doing, that I'm aware that we're here and figure it out.
I think it's that she's so heartbroken over Vision. She's like, either somebody needs to stop me, or I'm literally going to take over the world with my illusion magic. Right. Like she'll just continue to keep on going, and we saw with the last scene
how it all ended. Yeah,
like she's expanding.
Got a little scared.
Yeah, and she just decided, oh, okay, well, you guys are encroaching on my territory. Why don't I just expand it into a whole bigger space?
But I don't know what's going on. And I really thought it was really dope how she turned them. Really cool, really interesting that she turned them into clowns, because what else would you view a government entity as? A bunch of clowns.
That's bothering you.
Right. That's bothering you specifically. Like, oh, this clown show. Here comes the circus.
Right.
I thought that was very cool. But so let's go to, for me, there's a big thing when you go from Wanda and her, just the understanding that she's trying to figure it out now that she's understanding, hey, I'm doing something. I believe that whole discussion she had with Vision about not knowing what's going on and him kind of like threatening her, so to speak, being more abrasive than she was used to. He doesn't know who he is, but the problem is everyone else does.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They may not know where they are now and what's going on, but they are well aware of who they are and the fact that they aren't there doing what they were doing before. Mm-hmm. So I think something that was said, or an occurrence in that moment of their back and forth, is what kind of broke something in Wanda and why everything else is starting to kind of fall apart. Because it's not just Vision's finding out things. Wanda thought she could bring Vision back and Vision would be a part of her illusions. The first thing Vision said, or the last thing Vision said when she tried to end it all, was, "You can't control me like them." And she's like, "Can't I?" No, you can't.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that perhaps the only reason Wanda's losing any control whatsoever is because Sword is trying to infiltrate.
You think it's making her more nervous?
Yeah, I think if you think about it, like the only reason all of this started to crumble was because Sword kept trying to infiltrate. So you had, like the helicopter and then the person on the radio, the beekeeper guy. Yeah, and it's just like more.
Yeah, you're right.
More and more people are trying to get into her little reality, and it just keeps like screwing everything up because she has to keep pretending that this illusion is real. Right. And so whereas like maybe she could lose herself in the illusion if nobody was messing with her, every time somebody steps in, it makes her off. Yeah, it makes her recognize that this is all an illusion and it's not real.
That reminds me of the scene with Agnes.
Yeah.
So when Agnes comes in and she's talking and Vision is sitting there and Vision's like, "Oh, well, why? How did you know?" "Oh, I can tell your little babies." Or, "How did you know?" "I can hear them from outside." "Oh,
yeah." What?
That's not weird to you? Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
That threw her off. So then when she's supposed to be grabbing the babies, and Vision's like, "Oh, I can do it." "So do you want me to do that again, or how do you?" Hey, Wanda, what do you want, Wanda? How do we do this, Wanda? Don't hurt me anymore, Wanda. Because the other thing that they keep saying, the people in the town. So far we've had Agnes, and we've had his name is not Sam, the guy in Norm, I believe his name is, the guy in the office. They both say it hurts.
Yeah.
See the lady putting the clothes on the line, and there's a tear rolling down her face. So
right.
Something we've heard in a lot of, in my opinion, or I don't think this is my opinion. I think this is something that I know we've all heard multiple times when it comes to people with telekinesis and Martian Manhunter's niece's name is
Oh, I have no idea.
I forget her name as well. But the Martian girl, Miss Martian. Jeez, how do I not think of Miss Martian? Miss
Simple enough.
Martian, right? Exactly. When she gets in people's brains, she's able to literally wipe their brain, and it hurts. It kills them. Even when she's just reading their thoughts, people feel her in there. It hurts.
Yeah.
And these people have had Wanda in their head for an extended period of time. And
sounds like about 9 days.
Right. And that's exactly what I was getting at is, so when you get from that moment with Agnes and that break, you jump to the discussion with Vision, and you realize she really didn't know until 9 days. None of this clicked for her. No, she didn't know what was going on. Whenever something snapped in her head, she went and she got Vision. And ever since then, she's been blacked out until maybe what? We're on episode 6. So let's call it 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that she erased her own mind, or at least tried to.
Ooh.
I don't think that she doesn't know what's going on. I think that she's very much in control, and she's just in denial about the fact that she's trying to pretend like, oh, I don't know what's happening to me. But like, it's very clear that she knows exactly what's going on.
She knows way more than she's saying, and that's clear.
She left the reality to go talk to Sword. So I mean, like, it's not like she doesn't understand what's going on. Like, she literally stepped out for a minute to go have a chat with the real world and was like, "Leave me alone. I'm playing make believe." You know,
I feel like I'm watching this show from inside the hex, and you're watching it from outside.
But it's true. Like, you know,
no, you're absolutely right.
She's totally like, I'm playing in my own little world. You guys leave and leave me alone.
I'm gonna take my ball and go home. Oh wait, I can't go nowhere. All right, but you go home with no ball.
It would be interesting to think about each of the characters inside the hex as just a facet of her personality, though, because that's where you get with the brother. The brother becomes literally, he says it in the show. He's like, I'm here to antagonize you and make you uncomfortable and to kind of rib you a little bit. That's why you brought me here. And so it's like each person in the town is kind of like a facet of her personality. So it would make sense that some of the facets of her personality are trying to fight back against this sort of hex thing.
Right. Well, I'm thinking not so much a facet of her personality, but a facet of her imagination and what she understands. TV is something that we just buy into, like our society. TV is something that's ingrained in us. We don't even realize we're learning from it. We don't realize how much of it has been imprinted on our personality. With that being said, I think Pietro's character was more so making the point of, we're following the storyline that you know because you created.
Right.
That storyline says that in episode 4 or episode 5, the antagonistic brother comes into play.
Right.
Because I don't think he's going to be in the next episode. She blasted him into the hay, and we didn't see him for the rest of the episode. But now her son has super speed, and the other son has her abilities.
Yeah, well, something along the lines of her abilities. I don't know.
Something you're correct.
Yeah, because it could be like sort of her abilities. Well, and see, this is my issue too, because they said in the show those children aren't actors. So what are they?
I think she really created children inside of herself by, here's where it's going to get crazy. Because we've talked in brief about the fact that she abducted Vision's corpse. I think she really reanimated Vision's corpse, but he has to remain so close to her. That's the purpose of the bubble. That's the purpose of the bubble. The only way to keep him reanimated is to keep the reality around him specifically.
Right, but that doesn't explain how the children exist in the
I'm sorry, I didn't. So that's what I was gonna say. That's where this gets crazy. Yeah. I think she inseminated herself with Vision's. Keep this in mind. Vision, yes, is a robot, or an artificially intelligent being, not quite a robot, much more sentient, right? But he is still sentient. This is her reality. So all you need is data to upload into her consciousness, and she can utilize it however she wants.
Yeah, but that still doesn't seem like it. It seems to me like she did something like create people out of nothing. And that's kind of like what I think that they're coming to, because what they're insinuating at least is that Wanda's way more powerful than anybody could have ever imagined.
For sure.
The fact that she was able to reanimate Vision just off of his carcass,
right,
and he was able to cross out of the illusion without immediately dying is weird. You know, like,
keep in mind, Pietro is also Pietro's corpse. She just changed the face.
No, Pietro's corpse isn't there.
I think so. I think that's really Pietro's corpse.
No, Pietro's corpse was left in Sokovia.
Right. That was my bad.
Yeah, so it's just, and that's why he has a different face, because, you know, like, it's just some amalgamation of what she thinks of her brother as. But that's still to me, like, the kids are weird, because they specifically said that those weren't actors,
right?
That those were literally creations of Wanda.
She said those are real kids, yeah.
And so she literally created human beings out of nothing. And, you know, Vision, for what it is, he's not a biological person.
Right.
And even if it was just an illusion, they would say, well, those are just illusionary kids that, you know, she's creating to make up. But it seems as though they're saying that those are real kids. And
yeah, they definitely are saying that those are real kids. And keeping in mind, the weird thing about the kids is that they can grow and age themselves
whenever they want. Yeah.
That was nuts. But I wonder, can they reverse it too?
I don't know.
But they're gaining more abilities. And that's what's making me curious. That's why I'm
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, like, it could be possible that they're, I don't know. It's very strange, because it's like, because we also have the introduction of Evan Peters as Quicksilver, right?
Quicksilver, yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, to me, it's like, I know that they did this as a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing, but now this is actually canon. And so, like, canonically, Evan Peters as Quicksilver was created by Scarlet Witch in order to grieve her lost brother that was the other Quicksilver. So it's like,
and what's crazy is he played Quicksilver in
all the X-Men movies. Yeah.
In all the X-Men aside movies. From that particular one.
Yes. Yeah, well, aside from Avengers, because of Marvel didn't own the rights to X-Men back then. So now that I
was trying to figure out what that was about. That makes sense.
So I'm like a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because they're trying to integrate X-Men into the Marvel universe, and this was just a way for them to do it, because Wanda is the sister of
Pietro
Quicksilver. But I think they also kind of did it to be like rewriting the canon of the X-Men Quicksilver that we know as Evan Peters.
Right.
So,
well, okay, so think how this would play into Wanda, right? If you do that, then you have to bring in the Brotherhood. Brotherhood Wanda, Brotherhood Scarlet Witch was no nice gal. That would lead into what the I forget his name right now, but the head guy in charge of Sword, but the head guy of Sword, that would lead into what he's kind of hinting at, like, hey, we know you know her as an Avenger. Let me tell you what she did when she didn't want to be X-Men.
She's a problem.
She's a big problem, and and that's where the Maximoff name comes from as a bad thing. Is them remembering what she did when she was,
and she's being quite clear, and like she did it to Geraldine. Like she got real menacing to Geraldine when she said, you know, she mentioned that her brother died from Ultron.
Yep.
Like she ejected her from the illusion very forcefully, and you know, like she's not trying to kill anybody, but it wouldn't take much for her to kill all the people around her.
No, not at all. She could blink them out of existence like Thanos without a snap.
Right. Exactly.
With a thought, in fact.
Exactly. So it's like, I could definitely see her getting pushed to the supervillain side right now, and that would be kind of cool. I would really be interested in seeing that.
I would love to see a heel story arc come back. We haven't seen one of those in so long.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Especially for somebody like, you know, Scarlet Witch. Could you imagine if you did like the House of M storyline where she goes like nuts and just rewrites all of history?
What I'm telling you, everything in between Brotherhood and Avengers is a whole different person.
Yeah.
And that's what now that we're really talking about it, and I'm thinking about the elements of what we saw things that were said, that actually seems like where they're headed. And
I will do
Sword is
that.
a
That's
much
perfect.
bigger entity on that side of everything because they are an aggressive assault force.
Yes, and they're an observing force, and so Sword stands for. I paused it when they actually said it, so it stands for sentient weapon, observance report, and something else. Department. There you go.
Look, the D. Oh, I got you on that part.
Yeah.
Department.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and that would actually be really cool because then that for the movies, for all the Marvel movies, you can literally rewrite all of the Marvel stuff because you could just say that ever since the House of M situation, when Scarlet Witch rewrote reality,
Yep.
You know, like, this is now the new Iron Man. This is now the new Captain America. This is now,
that is a reality too.
Yeah.
I want to say that wasn't that done in the comics?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, they did they definitely did do something similar to that, but I think it's ripe for all of the movies, especially one. And apparently Doctor Strange is going to kind of tie into WandaVision too at some point. So the next Doctor Strange movie. So
follow me really quick.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Zatanna.
Okay.
Okay, we can leave it there.
That'd be a trippy movie. I mean, yeah.
Okay, wait, no. Let's venture down this. Let's give us 3 minutes. Who do they have to fight? Why?
I mean, it doesn't even matter at that point. They'd have to fight Celestials or something, but
1,000%.
They already did. I mean, yeah.
But did they?
Well, I mean,
they just killed Thanos. Follow me down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
They just killed Thanos.
Well, right? And Strange defeated Dormammu, but that wasn't really a slaying. Yeah.
What if is his name Creator?
Which one?
Thanos' dad. His name is
I don't know.
Creator.
I have no idea.
Dang, I can't remember his name right now. But
or Galactus. I mean, you could bring in Galactus, I guess.
But essentially, like the Titan planet just
all right.
He wasn't our favorite, but now for some reason you kill him, all of a sudden the planet is resurrected. And what if they come back as the top level dogs, and that's what they got to take out?
Do you mean like Ego?
Yeah, like Planet Ego, stuff like that. Like the higher level.
Yeah, the Celestials.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like all of those things kind of just like, all right, there's no Thanos, because in reality, Thanos is the thing or the person that was standing in all of their way. So now there's no Thanos. Because Thanos didn't really want to take over the universe. He wanted to bring order.
I still don't understand how Thanos got anywhere near the stones, to be honest, with people like Scarlet Witch in the roster, and
she was distracted with love,
I guess. Yeah. I mean, like, what does Thanos have? Just like heightened strength, and he's very big because he's from Titan,
right? And it's I guess supreme intellect, like he's a master strategist.
Oh, okay.
That's essentially his real ability, is he outthinks everybody, so to speak.
I think they should have relied on that a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, and no, I think they did. I think that was the whole key, is he's the beginning and all of that good junk. But the reason he didn't. Okay, so the theory is that Thanos got caught slipping, right? What if Thanos just got bored and was like, all right, let's see what y'all do?
I mean, I guess he could have said that for sure.
Because he said he was retiring. He was done. He saw the world, the universe, the way he wanted to see it.
All I have to say is, like, you know, what they're doing right now, WandaVision is making Thanos look like a Earth level villain. You know, like,
that's
I mean, up. But where's the lie? Honestly, like,
there's no lie, but geez, Earth level villain.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Like, I mean, the only Joker, you mean?
Yeah, because he can go to space is because he has a ship. The only reason he has any power is from the Infinity Stones. You take that away from him, he's just strong, and he has good strategy.
And he's won every battle, like Rob Stark. No, I'm sorry, I won't do that. Hey, wait, they have a lot in common, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like, But yeah, if you think about it, like, there's no way. There's just anyways. But yeah, the way they're treating WandaVision right now, it's like, wow. Well, now we get to see what the real
The
sort
real
of
Wanda.
powers. Well, and the real powers look like. Like that's the real stuff. Being able to manipulate,
The
reality.
reality. Well,
Yeah.
that's why I always disliked how Wanda was depicted in the movies. I always felt like they didn't do her any justice. And I think that's why I like this so much, because there is an opportunity to right your wrongs here, Marvel and Disney and you people. While I said that name, can somebody explain to me what Disney doesn't own? So they've talked about they've basically done Full House on screen. They've done Malcolm in the Middle on screen, Lucy on screen. What doesn't Disney own?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Nothing.
Okay, we don't have to talk about it, but
they own it all.
They own it all. It was episode 6 was the one where I was like, okay, wait, was it episode? I wrote it down so I could actually.
I think it was episode 5 when they did all like the early 90s, like sort of like Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step intro.
It was that one. But that was the one where I was like, wait, that's all ABC.
All the ABC stuff.
And I was like, that's Disney. And then I saw Malcolm in the Middle and I said, wait, dang, Fox is
now owned by Disney. Yeah. Yeah, they got everything. I mean, they have everything.
It blew my mind a little bit. I thought it was, but again, when you do that, so here's the thing. What it made me look at is from a business perspective. When you monopolize IT, intellectual property, or IP, excuse me, you're able to utilize it however you want to. Like that is what people always, I want to use what I have. They're doing exactly what we all say. They're utilizing every piece of work to make this one piece of work worthy or valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. It's great. It could be used as a model in the future, but we could get away from that for now.
What I thought was cool was just kind of the way the illusion bubble or the hex sort of worked. So we find out that the helicopter is actually a sword drone.
Yeah.
And because the era was prior to drone technology, for some reason the illusion changed it into a toy helicopter.
Wanda changed it into a toy.
Yes, Wanda changed it. But why would she allow that 80s like drone to come into the illusion?
Well, that's where I believe the part about her really not being fully aware. Here's the thing. The stones were supposed to be all powerful. She is a living stone.
Right.
When you think about that, a stone or the gems are about this large, the size of your eyeball, right? Wanda is a full-grown human woman. When that vessel is filled to the brim with power, how powerful is it?
I don't know. I mean, I
think that's what we're up against.
Yeah. Well, and we certainly see what we're up against, at the end. So, we get to this sort of point where Vision is starting to distrust Wanda, which I think is kind of cool. Like he's starting, and it's probably because like there's something, and see, this is where I'm wondering, like, is she actually creating people? Because I think that she might be like literally creating people, because if Vision was just an iteration of Wanda's mind, why would he go off and start to do his own thing?
Because he's not. So with her reanimating his corpse, I think he is the anomaly that is causing everything to break so fast.
Probably
him, and then the creation of the children, who are clearly also they are of her creation, but not of her control. Like
she can't control them, which is weird.
In a godly way, she created them of free will.
Maybe, I guess. Maybe she allows them to have a certain level of autonomy, that I guess.
Or maybe it's her understanding of what parenting is. Parent can only control so much, right?
Yeah, maybe it's her understanding what a child is too, where it's like, just let my boys be, crazy and run around and all that stuff. Yeah.
But so with Vision is the anomaly because Vision is real. Well,
his body is real.
But Vision's not human. he is a collection of data. He's an Ultron basically.
Yeah,
I forgot what they were calling him, but he's
an android.
He's an android. Thank you.
Yeah.
Why does that word skip me? I don't know. But he's an android, a highly expensive vibranium supercomputer,
super powered, can fly, can run fast for some reason. I don't know.
He has his own processors. He has his own algorithms and patterns, and all of those things just kind of started, I think, working the job that he works. Just her happened to put him in that environment of computers, right? The email situation that came through later, but I think all of those things started triggering certain things in his programming.
Well, and maybe that's why too Vision doesn't actually have like a super brain. He has like a human's brain, because Wanda can't replicate the super brain of a computer. Right. Because if you think about it, Vision doesn't act the way Vision acted before he died.
Yeah, he couldn't. Like you said, he acts
like a normal guy. He acts like a normal dude. How come he can't anticipate things at lightning speed? How come he can't remember dates? How come he can't, like keep all this information like a computer? Well, it's because his personality is just Wanda,
Right. And what she remembers or what she wants of him.
Right. And she's not able to recreate a supercomputer mind in her head. So she just kind of lets him be a husband.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's why she said you're a husband and a father. Isn't that enough? Yeah. Even keeping in mind something that changed with Vision as it went. Vision's stiff.
Yeah.
Vision is stiff. Very. That is like known. He walks stiff. He talks stiff. He's stiff. Vision walks in. Hey, wife. Hey, your arms are swinging and a swanging like noodles. Who is that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's some construct of what Vision would be, maybe if he were more human. Right. I guess. I don't know.
Right. So those kind of things, I believe, are that look into what makes Wanda affected by Vision. Why is he still there? Yes, she has this creation around him. She is creating a reality that allows him to live, but everything inside of that vessel has its own operating systems already.
Yeah, except I don't understand why Vision would. Vision's not he wasn't alive before so like everybody in the town was a real person before the Hex was created.
Okay.
Vision was just a dead computer.
But dead computer still stored full of data. All you have to do is power it up. Once you give it once you're able to power it up, and that's what I'm saying is she powered it up. She was able to keep it running, so-called dormant or on standby, which means that she was able to do what she wanted to, no matter what. And then over time, certain programs started running again.
Well, and I think there was an interesting little tidbit too when they talked about they mentioned Vision, and they said that he had a prime directive to not be revived.
Right.
When he passed away. So right. I guess it is possible. Like Tony Stark could have remade him, and like as soon as he wanted to. I guess. Him. Yeah, that's true.
The one thing he does, and that's why I think Sword is really there. I think Sword is there because of the directive, because of the order by Vision. Right. He's a weapon. Yeah. You might, first off, we now know you were able to create an entire reality out of a town. Yes. We now know you're able to create an entire reality out of a town and tell us that, and this is as far as I can get. You know what? All right, no, about 10 more miles. That's as far as I can go. Excuse me? And you have a radioactive weapon with you?
That's true. And then the larger the radius of her illusion gets, the more Vision can roam around and do whatever he wants.
You get what I'm saying? And at this point, Vision understands that you can't control me. I'm not them.
Well, and the screwed up thing is too, the bigger the Hex gets, the more NPCs are going to be around. Because I know, like if you recall, when Vision's walking around the neighborhoods, the farther he got away from Wanda,
yes,
they were all just frozen.
Yes,
not doing anything. So could you imagine if you're just like destined to be frozen until Wanda walks near you? Like
proximity range.
Yeah.
I thought that was nuts, but so realistic.
So that would think that proximity range increases with the increase of the hex. So she could literally just she could freeze the entire world.
Wow, I get what you're saying.
If she wanted to, because
if they're not within what, let's call it 3 miles of her.
Yeah, 5 miles maybe, at the most. Like, so as long as if she keeps growing the hex, then she could just freeze the entire world, and only things that are close to her would be animated.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, because I was wondering that. So one of my notes was, what happens with everyone else when they're not interacting with Wanda and Vision?
I guess we saw they're standing
out. Yeah,
just literally standing their paws doing nothing.
And at first I was like, okay, well, that's those people, but what about the mains, like the Agneses and the
she got too far away from Wanda.
Too.
Yeah. She got too far away. Which makes sense because she's one of the neighbors, so it would make sense that like she'd be more active than the people across the town, like
right. And realizing how much they know, like they are all fully aware. Like how are you gonna cure that, Wanda?
Yeah. Well, what was weird to me is the in episode 3 when what's her name? Brigidine, right? Brigidine is Geraldine is helping deliver the kids, and Agnes and Herb are talking to each other. Agnes knows.
Yep.
She knows everything that's going on.
Because I figured this one out. When the dog was introduced by the boys, Agnes is watching through the windows.
Yeah. And she's the one that kills the dog too.
Oh, she definitely kills the dog. Because here's the thing. Where'd that dog come from?
Well, yeah, exactly. Where did the dog come from? And why is Agnes always there whenever the kids make a jump in age?
She's always there when the kids make a jump. She's always there when they need something, and she comes in with the right thing. Vision notices that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that, remember that third party that we keep talking about, that we keep alluding to, because we're not quite sure, but it feels like there may be someone else involved as well. Yeah, Agnes might be a part of that.
I think so. I think Agnes is still kind of working behind the scenes with something else, or
and it's not for Sword. It may be Hydra.
Maybe, yeah, could be like
maybe the House of M.
Hydra. Maybe, yeah. I mean, like, I think that's kind of like, I think that's where that's going, is like she's got to be. There's something different about Agnes for sure, because the fact that she knew. Like, even when Vision didn't touch her, and like, because now Vision can touch people and they snap out of it.
Right.
But when she was just supposed to be a normal person, like she was talking to her being like, did you see them walk into there?
Yep.
She was like,
I was curious about that as well.
Like, she knows what's going on.
I was curious as to how that was able to happen. Now, once we got further in, I was curious as to how that interaction was even able to happen.
Yeah.
If everybody is frozen and or being controlled by her in some way.
That's what I was having an issue with. And Herb must be able to do that as well. Because Herb was going to tell her, Vision.
Right. And so what I'm thinking is maybe this was before she realized how hard she had to work to keep it all intact, because Vision wasn't asking questions.
Maybe.
So it's like, now that he's asking questions, things are getting more
complicated. Roaming. Yeah, maybe people are having a lapse in the illusion,
right? Yeah. And that was even discussed. Whom had that discussion with Wanda about trying? Oh no, that was her having that discussion with Vision about trying to keep it all in order. Got people meeting their doctor's appointments and their dentist appointments and walking their dogs. And why are you working that hard, Wanda?
Yeah,
What are you really looking for here? And are you getting it? How about that? Are you getting it?
I don't know. I think there's still something to do with the kids. The kids must be important for some reason.
Definitely.
I think that this might potentially bring Vision back. I think they're gonna find a way to like solidify Vision inside the illusion, and then he'll be able to leave the illusion at some point.
Well, here's the problem. We're going to have to get the guy in charge out of charge, because he'll kill Wanda, Vision, and everybody else, because everybody's a weapon in his eye.
Yeah, he's the obligatory bad military guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Government don't know no good. Government don't know nothing but bang bang.
That's right. Yeah, shoot first and ask questions maybe some other time.
That's right. Not later, but
Not later.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
maybe. If somebody
Whenever.
asks, when there's a freedom of information request, then answer some questions.
So I got a guy at the front desk. He had a question. He got some paperwork.
Yeah, right.
It's just a question, sir. But if there's no paperwork, I don't
No
have to
paperwork,
answer it.
and I don't have to answer for 7 years until after it's filed. So
See, more information than I had.
yeah.
I would have answered it just by seeing the paperwork. Like, God damn it, you got me.
I think it was pretty sweet when she had the little showdown with him outside of the hex, and she just turned everybody's guns on him.
That was really
just
cool.
Walked away. Yeah.
But again, it shows that level of power that they're not sure.
Oh, and of course you have these, the government agency always has to be paranoid and can't leave anything alone. So they make the matter worse. So, like shooting at her was not a good idea.
Oh, that was a good idea. That was smart. Shooting a missile.
And where's Shield? Why is Sword so like low level? Why don't they have like Shield style stuff?
Because the infantry doesn't get what the special ops gets.
Yeah, but like they're intelligence because they're observe and report and respond.
Intelligent infantry,
I guess, but I don't understand why Shield has like flying aircraft carriers, and Sword has people with guns.
Has Escalades and
people with guns and the girl from Thor helping them.
So what's interesting about that to me, right? I didn't think they were gonna allude to her origin at all. They told us what her job was and everything, and I'm like, you don't have to tell us what her job is. Just tell them who you worked with.
Yeah,
that's why you're qualified for this job. Tell them who you worked with.
I worked with Thor from the Avengers.
Oh yeah, you know how Thor couldn't get the gates open to get to the other realms, and that was me.
Yeah, right.
That was me. Oh yeah, that coffee you wanted, man. I'm like,
yeah, very strange.
And then to bring in, like we were talking, Geraldine, also known as Monica, which is her name outside of the hex. I can't remember her last name, but I knew Rambo, right? Monica Rambo, Captain Rambo. The moment I heard Captain Rambo, I said, "Why does that sound familiar?" And it didn't click immediately. I'm not going to. I got it. No.
Rambo.
Say it again.
The movie Rambo, maybe.
No. All right. Silly man. Because there was a movie I saw where there were two female pilots who went beyond the odds, and one ended up going to space, and the other one stayed on Earth, and was in a blown up plane and all that kind of good junk, but she survived, and we don't know what happened to her
until now.
But now we do.
Yes, of course. She works for Sword now.
Right. And guess who she has to thank for still being alive? Her bestest friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, best friend.
Captain Marvel.
So yeah, I thought that was clever. I thought that was unnecessary. Like she could have just been a random Sword agent who wanted to do well, and her mom was the leader of Sword and all of that good stuff. But to add that little tidbit, they want to tie
all the things together.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's what I think is going to be cool about that. It lets me know either they're all going to be a part of the movie, or there's going to be a Captain Marvel sighting in this show. Yeah. If there is a Captain Marvel sighting in this show, I almost assume we will at some point get the scroll in any of the story arc somewhere sometime soon.
I don't know. I don't know if Carol Danvers will make an appearance. You know who I think will, though? I really think Doctor Strange is going to make an appearance.
You know who I think is about to make an appearance to drop off this vehicle that can venture into the Hex?
Ant-Man?
Yes, actually, yes. Exactly.
If he goes quantum, he can get into the Hex.
And that's exactly when they start talking about, I'm like, are they talking about quantum physics?
Right.
And she's, I know a guy. And I'm like, if Paul Rudd pops up on the screen right now, bro.
Or they'll have, Hank Pym or something,
You're right.
They could probably they'll bring Hank Pym instead, and then they don't have to pay Paul Rudd.
Yeah, that will be the paycheck. I'm sure the paycheck is different on that. You're right.
Because you know what she said, what Monica said was, I need a room that is radiation proof and explosion proof, that
Crap, the
is
van
small enough to
and on
put on
wheels.
wheels. Yeah.
The
So
van.
of course, yes. Yep. So they're gonna bring in Hank Pym and the Pym particles, and maybe it'll be Evangeline Lilly. You know.
Ooh, okay. That would be
So
that'd be interesting.
maybe it'll be the Wasp.
Right,
comes.
right.
Yeah.
That would be actually more interesting. And honestly, that makes more sense. This is a female. Well, it's weird to say that. So with it being called WandaVision,
it's more geared towards
right,
the female
right.
cast.
Exactly.
Of
I'm like, even though it's called WandaVision, I like that
it's Wanda's show.
WandaVision, because then we realize, oh crap, this is
it's
Wanda's
her
show.
vision. Mm-hmm.
Right on the head. Right. Bing!
Yeah.
Exactly. So
yeah, no, I like that. I mean, like, it's, as I said, it's refreshing to have a story that expands on a character that I just don't think that got enough, attention.
Yeah.
Aside from making Mary Kate, or not Mary Kate, what's her name? Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen.
I don't remember her real name. I wasn't even
Olsen. But yeah, aside from making her adopt that really terrible East European accent for like one movie and then dropping it, I like that they said that in the show too.
I thought that was hilarious. What happened to your accent? What happened to your accent?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So so something that I thought was really interesting in episode 6, to prove how much she was losing just. It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Did you really just dress up as yourself and dress him up as
himself? Yeah, and Quicksilver was his younger Quicksilver self. Yeah, I think they did that as like
storyline wise. They did it for the giggles,
right?
But I mean, she in the mode of thinking.
Yeah, there's still
Scarlet Witch did this.
Yeah, there's still something about there's still something inside of her that has to recognize that there is a reality outside of what's going on, I think. Right. Because like if she keeps trying to suppress it, it's just going to get worse. And so I think there's
she becomes Scarlet Witch again.
Yeah, so I think that there's some ways that she kind of like lets the reality seep into her little illusion, and wearing those costumes, I think, was one of the ways where she's like, her subconscious is allowing her to sort of acknowledge the reality of what, her and Vision are, which are superheroes,
Right.
And they even go into the poses a couple times over the last few episodes.
They know, or she is thinking about so many different things at one time. It's all mending together now. I'm starting to wonder, or excuse me, I was starting to wonder at first if she could even tell you what reality was anymore until she exited the hex. And then I knew,
she knows. Yeah. For now. Yeah.
Listen, when she walked out the hex, I said, this was my exact thought. You dirty dog.
Oh yeah. She gave me totally like, the Phoenix Force. That was like very Phoenix Force moment where, Jean Grey basically destroys everybody, And
it's like, I blacked out. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I didn't know.
It was the Phoenix Force. You are the Phoenix Force.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you got anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anything that pops out to you? Anything that we missed? I'm trying to think in my head if we missed anything, but luckily, well, not luckily, but these episodes are 20 minutes long. Do you realize that?
Well, they were episodes 5 and 6 were about around the 40-minute mark. Just those two, though.
So episode 6 is 37 minutes long,
and episode
every
5
credit
is like 40.
Every credit scene is 7 minutes long.
You're right.
So episode 3 and 4 were 23 minutes long with 7 minutes of credits.
Right.
So
that would be 18. 30. You're right.
They were like 18 minutes long.
The credits are what commercials would have gave us.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I mean, like, and that's that's why we're kind of lumping them in together, because there was just like, I spent 2 hours watching 4 episodes. So,
right. The only things I had to take away that was really, I just caught that. You're hilarious. So, it was just a few things, and some of them weren't even really related to the storyline. I liked Randall Park as the FBI agent. I think that's really cool. I like him as an actor.
Other Jim.
The other Jim.
From the office.
Jim. Yeah, sorry. No, wrong show. Anyway, so that was one thing I took away. Again, the consistent integration of the eras. We both are well aware that that's done now. So I'm really curious where they're going to go. What's going to be the WandaVision theme as of the next episode?
The theme songs are fantastic. Like the way they did the 80s or the 90s one was just like, dude, that was like Family Matters. That was Full House.
It was everything.
It was all of those TGIF shows like back in the day.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if they went and found some of the writers and things from those days to help out with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. So now we've gotten to that point. We're all the way up to the 90s, 2000s already. Yeah. What's next?
I don't know.
If Malcolm in the Middle was the 2000s, the only thing that can come next is they become animated.
Or they could do like one of those, like they'll do like an episode that's like 24 or something like that.
Ooh, what I mean? Start pointing out certain shows and those kind of things. Okay,
like touching on like mid 2000s shows.
Have a Cheers episode where they start having older characters pop up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hey, Disney, if you use that and it's not already recorded,
we'll take a cut. Yeah. Good shit. Well, I mean, like, anything else? I was looking through my notes.
All. The boys are probably the biggest anomaly, but they are so new and so kind of just in the mix of Wanda. I want to give them at least one more episode before we go too hard or too far in discussing Billy and Tommy. Yeah. The names alone are very hilarious to me. Tommy, Billy, you guys suck. You could do way better.
Those are some real weak names. I don't
Wanda and Vision. What's your kid's name? Tommy and Billy.
Billy, yeah.
Bill and Ted? What? But
I wonder if that's a reference to something, because
perhaps and we're not aware. Yeah. That would be cool. Maybe. Yeah. Hey, I like finding out things I didn't know. So let's hope that's the case and we learn something new in the future.
For sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, cool. That's all I got as well. I do predict that we are going to see a Marvel character come in at some point. I don't know who.
I think next episode we
did just get Quicksilver, so I mean,
that's what I thought about it. That's why I said we're on episode 7. We got him episode 5. Okay, no, episode 8. Episode 8.
Yeah, maybe like the one
season finale
right before the season finale or something like that. Yeah.
And again, I am hoping they don't stub us with 8 episodes, but that is the new.
That makes me so angry as somebody who likes a rounded out number. 8 is not fulfilling. Just give us 10. Oh my god!
but if we give you 10, then we're gonna want to give you 12.
You know what's funny? It's like I'd rather have 6 than 8. I'd rather have 6 than 8, and if I can't have 10, then give me 6. I don't want 8. 8 is not a good number for a season. 8 episodes.
You say 6, and I'm like, I would have settled for 7. So I'm with you.
Yeah, that's good enough. I mean, like, Peaky Blinders is a show that I love, and each season is only 6 episodes, and it's always been that way. And it's like an hour and a half each episode, so it's like almost a movie each episode.
See, that's cool. I can't compare my show that runs like that to Peaky Blinders because it's super immature. But it has a very similar setup, time wise.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate you listening to us. I hope we didn't babble too much. If you guys are super into the lore and we missed stuff, please let us know. Comments. I'm sure there are Easter eggs that we missed. So if you picked up on any, please let us know. What's up, Keelan?
I just remember some stuff. Look at that. We were segueing out, and I just remembered a few things I did, or at least one, maybe 2 things I did notice. So one was every time Wanda gets flustered, there's a reddish tint on certain things.
Yeah.
There's a reddish tint on not on everything, not on every light, on every object, on certain things.
Yeah.
As well as there was a reference in the newspaper when Vision was holding the newspaper that was I read that entire newspaper as much as I could. There were a couple of things, of course, a lot of things present to the time, but at the very top of the paper, it talked about a report of the flashing lights in the sky. Why would that be in the newspaper?
Yeah, well, I wonder what that is.
And then the other things that were very easy to read was about homemakers and their innovative recipes and stuff like that. And it's like, wait. Okay, so all of this is just kerfuffle. What's that at the top? And then you realize those lights in the sky is the hex. Because the hex is their sky. They don't get a sky.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton more that we missed. So if you guys found any Easter eggs or any references, or do we get something completely wrong and you tearing out your hair right now, screaming at your video? Because it's quite possible that we did. And if so, we apologize. But please let us know in the comments, and we'll issue a statement if we need to in the next episode. But
definitely, I will amend my errors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're happy to admit when we're wrong, and that's totally cool with us. But thank you so much, you guys, for listening. Stay tuned. Next week will be Game of Thrones, I believe, season 4.
Yes, indeed.
And then we will be reviewing episode 7 and 8 of WandaVision the week after that. Yeah. So we actually might just be doing episode 7. No, it'll be episode 7.
It'll be episode 8 by then.
Yeah. Unless
they stiff us. Maybe is there? We have to check the holiday calendar. If there's a holiday coming up, they might get us.
Right. Yeah. They go on a hiatus for like 3 months.
Because for some reason holidays come around and you can't just hit that button and send that to us.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so please stay tuned. We are on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. unless there is a snag, sometimes a little bit later, but mostly at 8 p.m. If you want to check out Keelan's podcast, If Numbers Could Talk, it is on at Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please go check that out. And I got a show, ExoFathom, if you'd like to check that out. That is Monday and Friday night at 8 p.m. So please feel free to give us a follow on those. Give us a listen. Let us know what you think about our individual podcasts. But if you're not interested in either of those, thank you for listening to this one. And we're very happy to just have your viewership. So thank you very much. Until next time, guys. Keelan, you got anything before we leave?
Hey, man, you guys have been here with me a while. You know how I feel. Take care of yourself and those around you. That's all.
It's always good. Yeah, definitely have a wonderful night. And we'll catch you on the next one. Good night, everyone.